Hi there, Stampers. This is Lisa with Queen Bee Creations. I am back from vacation and coming to you live as I do every Monday and Thursday at 2:30 with a fun tutorial to teach you how to make a fun fold card. Today we're doing this circle gatefold card. It's something I've done before. I did it with the Share a Milkshake, and today we're doing it with the decorative trees because I kind of wanted to play around with that stamp set and set of dies because they interact very well. So we will go over some of that today. I have a feeling I'll be using it on a few more future cards so we can delve into it a little bit further. Of course, everything that I use is Stampin' Up! Related and can be purchased in my online store. And I do appreciate those of you who shop with me and reward you with a free tutorial of 6 cards, plus the materials to make a card along with me on one of my lives the following month. So let's move you down to my desk so I can show you what we have. So here is our circle gatefold card. Looks like we're getting a tad bit of delay. I apologize for that. Hopefully things will straighten themselves out. It doesn't normally do that. I think it has something to do with the fact that I got so prepared for my going out of town that I didn't get prepared for my coming back. And so therefore, I'm a little bit scattered today. Let's see if I can plug this in hardwire. Maybe that will help. Maybe that focused it all back up. Looks a little better to me. But this is our circle gatefold card. And we're using the decorative circle dies. So that's this set of dies here, and they are a set that is fairly large. There are quite a few dies in this, and they go all the way up to almost 6 inches. And so several of you would ask me, what do we do with these larger circles? They don't totally fit onto a card. And so this was one of the things I came up with, was to have it come in from the side as a gatefold, and rather than being square or rectangular, it's circular. So I did use, counting down from the outside, I used 4, 5, and 6 as my layers. And then we're using this Decorative Trees bundle. Whew. This is not going smoothly, is it? So the Decorative Trees bundle comes with this stamp set and the coordinating set of dies, which are quite detailed. And they have all of these little pieces that will cut out not only the trees, but some overlays that will go over it, maybe some garland, a hanging bow, a star, bows for the tree, and ornaments for the tree. And I believe this could be the bottom of the tree for the stem. Not quite sure. They don't really give us directions for these things. We kind of wing it on our own. So we're winging it. Okay, one of the things I wanted to do was cut out this using some foil. So I do have a piece of our foil. And then this is a piece of our adhesive sheets. The adhesive sheets come in this pack of 12 sheets that are 6 inch by 12 inch. And then I usually cut them down to size to fit the project I'm working on. And then they have this backing that kind of cracks so you can peel it open. And then apply it to your cardstock before you die cut. And so what that's going to do is create a sticker. Because I put this one on with liquid glue, and even though I used my little fine tip glue bottle, it just, I don't know, it got a little bit on the outside and I'm not real happy with it. So I think the adhesive sheets are going to be just the ticket to save that one. Our card base itself, it starts out as 7 1/4 by 5 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. So it's basically giving us a 3 inch front. We cut off 1 1/4 inch, I believe. Yeah, we cut off 1 1/4 inch from the front. And then I have a piece that's going to fit on there that is 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. That's going to layer right onto there. The inside, of course, is a standard layer, 4 by 5 1/4. The 3 circles I mentioned we were going to die cut, I've already die cut them. This is Mossy Meadow. Then we have Old Olive, Very Vanilla, and then Mossy Meadow again. And we're going to die cut this piece using the foil with the adhesive sheet on the back. I'm going to be doing a little bit of stamping, not much, but for that I'm going to use Mossy Meadow and Wild Wheat. So I guess the first thing we should do is do our die cutting. So I want those dies. Here we go. So I'm going to be using this one here. This is 2 separate dies. I'm going to use that one there. This decorative trees bundle can be found in our new mini catalog on page 42. And I wanted to thank all of you who shop with me. I have some kind of exciting news. I've been a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator 11 years now, and not full-time the entire time, but I am coming up on my $100,000 in career-to-date sales. I'm within like $250 of making that goal, which pays a bonus from Stampin' Up! So I'm kind of excited about that. I'm hoping I'm going to hit it this month. So if you have gotten your catalog in the mail and you're excited about something, I'd love to help you place your order. And get you those freebies that I offer, the card kit as well as the tutorial. So I am mounting this on the front. Doesn't really look like there's a direction to it. Of course, if there was a direction to the designer series paper pattern, you would want to pay attention to that. And then I'm going to take these circles and I'm going to put this in here at the 1 inch mark, and then I'm going to score. So I just laid the circle in here and I put the far edge over here at that 1 inch mark on that side of the trimmer. And then when I go ahead and layer these on top of it, I used a scrap piece that wasn't quite big enough, but I knew that it cutting off that little bit at the end was not going to make a difference because we're going to trim that off anyway. So don't let that stop you from using some of those scraps of paper if they're not going to cut out the whole thing if it's not needed. You could also, on this layer, you could cut something out of the middle. Say I wanted to take and make another tree out of here. I could cut this tree out of the center of this circle and then use that on another project or even on this project. And then when I cover it up with the second circle, nobody would notice. I'm not sure why it's blurry. I did plug it in hardwire. It's got a little bit of a delay that I normally don't have. I have closed all my other windows. I sure fix that. Quick and easy. I would do it in a heartbeat. I don't know if it's something to do with StreamYard or something to do with Facebook or YouTube, my connection. I'm not sure. But let's move forward. because it's not something I can fix. Hopefully it stabilizes itself. Okay, so after I have these 3 circles on there, what I want to do is take this from the back side, and I'm going to cut off the part that hangs past my score line because we don't need any of that. So that's why my old olive circle not being all the way to the edge didn't matter, because we're cutting that off. Then what I want to do is stamp our inside sentiment here. On this one, I said a very Merry Christmas. So on this one, let's do Season's Greetings. I'm going to lay this on my glass mat right along one of the grid lines. Then I'm going to use another grid line to line up my block so that hopefully with those 2 things being straight and then the card being straight on the grid lines, it's going to give me my best chance at stamping straight. And I'm stamping this first because paper has 2 sides for a reason. If I was to stamp this and I wasn't happy with it, we could flip it over and stamp on the other side, but I'm fairly happy with that. So we'll be able to now adhere this. What I'm going to do is I've got it kind of butted up into my score line here. And then I'm going to put some adhesive. And I'm going to bury this in the back. So nobody's going to see this because we're going to adhere this to the inside of our card. And then we'll be ready to adhere our tree. As I said, I used the plain die to cut out the tree from Mossy Meadow cardstock. And then I'm going to adhere our little gold foil here, which I cut out using adhesive sheets on the back of it. So all I need to do is peel it off. And it exposes the adhesive, which makes this now sticky. So I'll be able to lay it down onto my project without having any messy liquid glue and have it be nice and clean. Then I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to the front of my card. And then I thought there was kind of a blank space there. So what I decided to do was I'm going to open this all the way up so this is nice and flat. There's no bumps underneath it. If I tried to stamp with it like this, it's all on the same things. We would be okay, but you want to be careful that you're not trying to stamp over something where there's a little bit of a ridge because it would not be clear. So I'm going to come in and do some gold stars. And for that gold, I'm using Wild Wheat. This was a color that came out as one of our in colors, and I was not a fan because I don't like it as a yellow, but I love it as a gold because it allows me to stamp onto this and have it have a gold look without having to do any heat embossing. Of course, if you wanted to heat emboss that, that would be gorgeous, but it also looks good just stamped. Ugh. Trying to get it to focus. So that is our card. Thank you to those who are remembering to enter hashtag Prize Patrol. One of the rewards for you guys for watching me live as I create these things is that you get to enter hashtag Prize Patrol and get entered into the drawing where we will spin a wheel and pick a winner, and I will be mailing one of these cards to the winner. And also, like I said, I started playing around with the dies. And so I wanted to show you some of the things it did. I did do these other extra pieces onto adhesive sheet cardstock so that it would stick on easily. Of course, it takes a little more effort to pull the pieces out of the inside because the die doesn't always cut all the way through the back of the adhesive sheet. You might want to run it through a couple times to ensure that it does. Otherwise, you're going to get stuck like me, picking out all these little pieces. A lot of them did come out when I just peeled off this, but for those few that didn't, you might want to take your pick tool or something pointy to pull those out of there. And then once you have them all out, I can lay this mossy meadow over some cherry cobbler, and it's going to make this mossy meadow tree appear as it has cherry cobbler or real red. I guess that's real red. Decorations on it. This one here was cherry cobbler. I knew one of them was. So the dies do have a little bit of like picking you need to do at them. So this is, like I said, where the die brush would come in handy. Getting all these sticky little pieces out of the way. Yes, thank you. Okay, so a lot of those, almost all of those. Yes, all of those peeled out. Wonderful. So I was just playing around with them, trying to see what these different masks would do. And I thought you might be curious as well. There are two of them that are not full size. Just had one of them. And of course, lost it. But I was kind of curious as to why two of them were shorter. These two right here, they only do the top layers. They don't do that bottom one. So I was a little bit curious as to why. I think what you could do is once you have these together is you could just trim off the bottom. I think that's what they did in the catalog. If you look right here, this little ornament doesn't have the stem on the bottom as these do. And then they've made a box out of it. So there's a box in the middle, and then there's a tree on either side. So that's what these little short ones are for. And here you can see they've used the ornaments, the bow, the garland. And then see again, I was saying that die I thought was the trunk, so it is. But anyway, that's those, in case you were curious. Jeanne agrees with me. She's not real wild about the wild wheat. But yeah, I think as a gold, it works well. Okay, so has everybody entered hashtag prize patrol? I'm getting ready to spin the wheel. So let's get rid of the desk and add our wheel. So here we are. We're going to give it a spin. See who today's winner is. So Angie is our winner. Congratulations to Angie. Angie, what you want to do is go to my website, queenbeecreations.net, and then up there in the address bar, you're going to, after the address, you're going to add /prize patrol, as it says along the bottom of the screen here. That will point you to a Google form where you can claim your prize and give me the address on where you would like it shipped to. So I hope you liked today's Gatefold circle card. I have given all the verbal directions as we went along through this. If you're looking for written directions, you can find it in volume 2 of my Fun Fold cards. So there you go. Another reason why you want my book. Thank you so much, and I will see you back here on Monday at 2:30 for another live. Thank you so much. Bye.